Hi guys, this is Maria Colon. Thank you for being here today with me in this broadcast, and thank you to those people that are going to be watching the replay. I appreciate it. Before I go into topic, I would like to know where are you watching this video from? If you are from United States, I would like to know what state are you watching this video from, and if you are from another country, please let me know the country in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. This topic is going to be very interesting. We are going over advertising. And I'm not just going over advertising from the perspective of online marketing. I'm going to talk about advertising in general. And the reason why I want to talk about advertising is because I found a really amazing book that I want to share with you guys. This book, I've been reading this book and I'm learning so much about it. I'm learning so much about what's behind advertising, what's behind big companies, big campaigns, and how big companies generate their campaigns. So this book, and I hope you can see it, I'm going to put it like this. This is a book called The Culture Code. And let me see if I can pronounce the author name. He's a French. His name is Glotaire Rapelli. I think it is his last name. You can see at the bottom here, that's his name. And this book is amazing. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. So the author, he was born in France, and he came to the United States when he, in the 70s. And he's a cultural anthropologist, but he also is a marketing expert. And he's been hired by many different companies, big corporations, big companies such as Chrysler, Nestle, also, I believe, L'Oreal. And there's been other ones, but those are the ones that come to mind right now. And the reason he was hired by this company is because some of this company, they wanted to know the cultural code. They wanted to know what people truly, what people felt about some of the products. Like, for example, Chrysler hired him to find the cultural code for the Jeep Wrangler. And at the time when he was hired to conduct this, this analysis, this research, Chrysler wanted to change the Jeep Wrangler and to make it more luxurious. They wanted to change the whole design, but they were not sure, so they hired him to conduct, this investigation. What turns out is that the way that he did his investigation was he will get people, right, American people, and then they will make what is called a discovery section where he will go in and he will ask questions to the participant. For a long time. Those sections will take hours, and he never would take a straight answer from people because he knew he's an anthropologist and he had done a lot of research, and he knew that people don't always say the truth, what they really meant to say, because people doesn't know what they're thinking at the unconscious level. So what he will do is that he will interview the people. He will ask them questions for a long time until he got into their unconscious mind. And then after he was done with the interview, he will collect the data, and then he will perform analysis on that data to figure out exactly the patterns, among the people that were interviewed, to find exactly what they truly felt about the product or about whatever particular thing that they were, trying to discover. And it turns out for the Jeep Wrangler, what they found in America was the Americans, the collective unconscious American, what they feel about the Jeep Wrangler is that the Jeep Wrangler is a sense of adventure. It's a sense of, going in the mountains. It's a sense of going into places where conventional cars and SUV cannot go to. So what he discovered during this section was that the American code for Jeep Wrangler was horse. So people identify the Jeep Wrangler with a horse. So this was quite an eye-opener for Chrysler, because for them it was like, wow, we are trying to change the Jeep Wrangler design from, from what it was to a luxurious car. And it turns out that the collective unconscious Americans think about the Jeep Wrangler as a horse. So they have to change the whole strategy. And what they end up doing was that they didn't change the design, of course, but they made some modifications to the design. They made the headlights used to be square. They made it round because by being round was more, was more consistent with the code. So if you are Chrysler, right, and you discover that Americans see the Wrangler as a horse, what do you think they're going to do? If you do an advertising, you're going to advertise it. You're going to go to the mountains. You're going to go to muddy places. You're going to show someone having adventures in the opens, right? You're going to show the Wrangler doing things that a conventional, car would not do. And that's how they will target that advertising. So there's a lot of, so I found that fascinating, how we think unconsciously, because you got to remember, if you are advertising in United States, for example, if you were to advertise the Jeep Wrangler in Germany, you will have to have a different strategy for advertising in Germany, because in Germany, what turns out was that the code for the Jeep Wrangler in Germany is liberation, right? So your marketing will have to be totally different from the way that you do it in America. In America, yeah, you go to the mountains, you show muddy places, you show adventure. In Germany, you will have to show something like going from one town to another to show liberation from the daily activities, right? So, this book is quite amazing and very interesting because it shows us how we think unconsciously. So, I want to share with you some other code that I found that are really interesting. So, the code for cars in America, again, I'm talking about the collective unconsciousness in America. The collective people as a collective, because remember, the way that we look at things has to do with our, the way our emotions work and the experiences that we have. That's why between cultures, right, cultures see things different because it depends on the imprint in our brain. It depends on the imprint of our own subconscious, right? Where it's associated with the experience and also the emotions that are tied to that whatever product or situation. So the American code for cars is identity. So Americans, we see cars as, we identify with our car. We change our car every 3 to 5 years. We also want cars that can take us from point A to point B. We want cars that have comfort. So it has to do with the way we identify with cars. One that was pretty interesting to me was the code in America for fat, right? The code for fat in America is checking out. And this is quite interesting because what he found in his research is that we have so much high standards when it comes down to our body. We, as I say, our body. When we see people that are not, have some pounds overweight, we associate that we have this high standard that everybody has to be slim. We have the high standard that our body has to be in shape. And it's a lot of pressure for people, right, with the high standard that we have in society. And what's happening is that a lot of people unconsciously, they check out, meaning unconsciously they start gaining weight because they get tired and frustrated with the high standard that society has. And for them, it's a way to say, hey, I don't care about what the society standards are. I'm going to do my own thing. Of course, they're not doing this consciously. They're doing this unconsciously. So what happened with that is that, they gain weight. And if you ask a person, hey, why, I noticed that you have gained some weight lately. The person is not going to tell you, hey, I'm checking out of the culture or I'm checking out of the society standards. Of course not, because they don't know. Consciously, they don't know that that's what's happening. What you will find is that people will tell you something like, well, they will probably blame it on the food industry or maybe the fast food restaurant or maybe products, that are causing them, to gain weight, there will be something, there will be an alibi, what is called an alibi, to justify our behavior, because we are not conscious about the real reason why we're doing and we behave the way we do. So that's what happened with that. The code for health and wellness in America is movement. So if you are an advertiser and you have a product in the fitness industry, like, you want to, if you're advertising, you want to show movement. You want to show people moving, because that's in code. That's going to be well perceived by the collective unconsciousness, because we associate fitness with movement, life, This one is very interesting, and I found this one very interesting. The code in America for nurse is mother. And you know why? Because when you're in a hospital and you're sick, the nurse is the person that takes care of you. The nurse is the person that gives you your medicine. The nurse is the person that gives you the food. The nurse is the person that talks to you, comes and check on you. And for American, the nurse is doing the same role as our mother would do in our house, right? So for Americans, they see a nurse as a mother, as a nurture, someone that nurtures you. The code for a doctor in America is a hero. And it's a hero because the doctor is the person that gets you better. When you're sick, the doctor is the person that gives you the prescription for the medicine that you need to get better. So we Americans look at doctors as hero. Surprisingly, the code for a hospital in America is a processing plant. And the reason for that, even though we see nurses as mother and we see doctors as hero, a hospital is a place where we're not able to move. We are constrained to a bed. We get medicine. It's isolated. It's lonely. So for America, and remember, the American code for health is movement. So when you're in a hospital, you are constrained. You cannot move, right? So Americans, we don't see hospital as a good place. We don't like hospital because it's not associated with being healthy. We don't see it. We see it as something that is not good for us. So that's there. The code for America for work is who you are. In America, the code for work is who you are. And why is that? I don't know, but when you ask people, hey, what do you do? What do people tend to tell you? People will tell you, oh, I'm a nurse. I'm an engineer. I'm a nurse. I'm a waitress. I'm a doctor. You see, people associate, who they are with what they do. And that's how we perceive it. That's a cultural imprint. That's how we wire here in America based on our experiences and emotion and everything else. Now, the last one that I have for you is the code for money in America. And you're going to be surprised what the code for money in America is. The code for money in America is proof. And you know why? The code in America is proof because for the collective unconscious, we can prove with money our accomplishment. The amount of money that we make is a symbol of how much we have learned, what we have accomplished in life. So that's how we connect it. So this is a very interesting book. But I think we need to read this book with an open mind because this is based on research. So there is a sign behind, when you see this advertising, when you see this big corporation and big company advertising, they know exactly what they do, what they're doing. I mean, they already had done the research. They know how we think. And the way our subconscious mind works, because we tend to make decisions with our reptilian brain, not with the cortex, but with the reptilian. And the reptilian brain is all about survival, and it's all about preserving. It's all about survival. So they know exactly how to target their campaigns to bring as much people as possible. They go into the collective unconsciousness, and that's why you see the advertising done the way they're done. So I hope you found some benefit on this video. I have such a great time reading this book. I'm just going to show it to you one more time. I hope you can see it there. This is a great book. It's making me think totally different about advertising because I'm looking at it from the perspective not just to create better campaigns, but with the perspective of understanding why we do the things we do here in America and in other countries. Another thing that comes to mind now as I read this book is that now that we have the internet, and we have these campaigns and we create this campaign and we send this campaign to different countries, right? We're not taking into account that in a different country, they perceive, those products differently. We try to make a campaign and we try to advertise it to Canada, to Italy, to Europe, and their culture is totally different. They will perceive, those advertising in a different way. So if you're not taking into account the cultural code of that particular community, of that particular country, your advertising could be off code, meaning that it's not going to be as successful because you have to target that particular demographic based on the cultural imprint. Okay? I hope I didn't lose you there. I hope that you guys got a good understanding of, of this book. And if you have any question, please let me know. Put your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know if it makes sense to you. Let me know your feelings. And if you know anybody that can, that would like to hear about this topic and you want to share this video, please go ahead, share the link. And don't forget to like the page so that you can get notifications whenever there is new videos. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for listening to my discussions here. And I see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.